Hey everybody, and thanks for watching. I promise I'll keep you a couple minutes. Actually, those promises usually don't take place because I tend to go long. But what I wanted to help you with today, especially kind of heading into a new year, is I just finished a 2-day kind of how to build a 500K desk and $1 million office intensive in Chicago. We're running it again in Orlando, January 15th and 16th. And I'll give you more information on that a bit later. Last time I'm going to run it in this format, so if you've been following me and you're thinking about, well, I'll go some other time next year, this is the last time we're running this one. But one of the big kind of things that people came up to me on breaks and at lunch and they wanted to talk about is a point I made I'm going to share with you during the event. And it was the one I made around most entrepreneurs and, let's, for our sake, recruiting firm owners, entrepreneurs, have a business that's either by design or by default. And my experience in interviewing hundreds and hundreds of recruiting firm owners over the last 10 years, having been a coach, is that most are by default. And it's, and I'll give you some examples of that. Don't beat yourself up. It just kind of is what it is. And you have at any point in time, you can make a new decision to have one by design. So let me give you some ideas what by default, what by design is, so I can give you some takeaways so you can move forward in your business, kind of maybe this time of the year where you do your annual business planning. If it's by design, it's strategic. It's always moving toward a predetermined goal. We're going to do $1 million in revenue next year. We're going to have a team of 4 people. We're going to have these kind of key accounts. We're going to be, this percentage going to be engaged. These are our cutoff points on fees. Kind of, maybe not black and white, because I don't think I ever operated with black and white, but I had dark gray. I did have dark gray as kind of standard, because there's a lot of things that it does depend on. It's not, we're going to make more placements next year. We're going to do higher fees. We're going to get more engagements, MORE, MORE, MORE. I can't measure that. And the other thing is your brain doesn't know how to identify that. Technically, one more placement is more placements. How much more revenue specifically are you going to get next year? How much more revenue or structure-wise, what specifically will be in place, and what are the specific benchmarks? Because what I often find is, and I've operated, true confession, my business from time to time by default. And you kind of know you're there if you feel stuck, if you're a little bit bored, maybe frustrated. When you wake up in the morning, you're not exactly clear what's going to happen that day. You don't really have defined outcomes for the year, for the quarter, for the month, for the week. And the reason is there's not something you're passionate about right now. And that's completely okay. I've talked about that in other videos, a lack of clarity. So you can watch on my YouTube channel, you can watch the previous one on getting clarity. But you want to know how to one of the key things is to become stronger, is become stronger and become a stronger leader. Be the person they want to follow. Lead by example. And that is come in, pick a time to come in. Start getting, planning your days on a very focused basis. Start executing to a plan, and then start training what you're learning to your team. Become a stronger marketer. Marketing, what I've seen, because of the economy so strong right now, is people are kind of just relying on the call-ins and the low-hanging fruit. And there's kind of a recession coming sometime, hopefully not for a long time. But how are you going to react when it's 4 times harder to get a job order? That's studying metrics. It's about 4 times more difficult. It takes 4 times as many conversations to get an assignment. And then they're going to be pickier, and they're going to want to cut your fees. Have a portfolio of clients now, even if they all cut back, at least you'll have some that are going to call in some stuff. Become a stronger negotiator. If you're working with internal HR and internal recruiters, as a lot of what you're doing, you're targeting the wrong types of companies. I would scale down. Go to companies with less than 250 million as kind of a quick shot, and then have a disciplined marketing approach. One of the things we're going to teach at the intensive are 3 specific strategies on how to market without cold calling. Because I believe leaving NPC voicemails or star candidate type voicemails in this day and age is significantly less effective than it was even 5 and 10 years ago, never mind 20 years ago. There's ways to get around that to really establish yourself as a subject matter expert. One of them could be putting out articles, things like that. We're going to talk about that in depth. I don't have a lot of time in a quick few-minute video. And become a stronger coach, right? Hold people accountable. Set some specific objectives from them, and then if hopefully you're tracking metrics, when you have that, you can really measure them on the specific things they need to do on not only a weekly but daily basis, so that you'll know at the end of any given day if they're on or off target for their annual goal. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll want to see us in Orlando in January, because I'm going to spend a lot of time around how to do that. We'll give you the formulas and then how to implement it with your team. The problem in our industry is we kind of looked at what everyone else is doing, and people, for the most part, have stopped tracking metrics, or they when they did, they were in environments where the owner, there was never enough. In this economy, 2 first-time interviews a week is probably a $250,000 a year in perm production. It's the thing I have coming up, the intensive I have, how to build a $500,000 desk and how to build a $1 million office intensive, is not your typical seminar where I don't teach at you for 2 days. I tell some pretty brutal truths. I walk you through what's going on in your head that is holding you back, to kind of liberate you from that. And you can go to our Facebook page, The Recruiter U, and if you want to see some evidence of kind of how some people shifted. And the key thing is, what I've learned is, whether you come to this or not, and most of you that are watching this are, and that's totally cool, is until you shift up here, nothing's going to change. Well, next year I'm going to be better. Just like all those people that joined gyms in January and stopped going in January, and then signed 1-year contracts. So what's the shift that's got to occur up here? What's the belief that's holding you back? If you want to go deeper on that, again, join us in Orlando in January. You can visit the Recruiter U as in university.com/intensive for a ton of details. You can call Priscilla on my team at 860-200-7153 to see if or how this event can help you. Key thing, if or how, it's not for everybody. We cover a ton in 2 days. If you're having trouble growing, being consistent, hold yourself accountable first. And again, I invite you to go deeper with us in Orlando, January 15th and 16th. It's a Monday, Tuesday. The hotel is right near the airport, so it's a quick free shuttle ride. And therecruiteru.com/intensive. If you want, leave any comments on the key concept of, are you running this business by design or by default? And remember, by design is with you're operating every day, if not every week, to a predetermined outcome. And if you're not, what does that predetermined outcome for you look like in the next 12 months for you to be really, really happy with your progress? And I want to wish you all the best until my next video, and happy holidays. Bye, everybody. Hold on. Let's turn this off.